After Edu Gaspar surprisingly left Arsenal just last week, there is not a lot of recovery time for Arsenal to get a new technical director in with the new summers coming up. However, their number one candidate that Arsenal want to replace him for has been announced, and in this video we go through his history and let you know everything you need to know about this potential director of football. So let's get into it. Now, the first thing to consider when getting a replacement in is the time they'll be able to join. As you know, Edu Gaspar left I think last week because he has a 6-month non-compete agreement, which means he cannot feasibly work for another organisation until that is over. And if someone's going to leave at the end of the summer, that may be difficult to get them in because it will take another year from now. Now, this morning we were rocked by the news that Real Sociedad director of football Roberto Olabe has agreed to leave the club at the end of the summer. Now, instantly this set off a lot of alarm bells between Arsenal fans because not only is he Basque and he's from obviously the area Arteta is from, he was credited in scouting and bringing in people like Alexander Isak, Martin Odegaard, Zubamendi and Marino, and all of them have been linked to Arsenal or do play for us now, so it's definitely someone we are interested in. However, he is leaving at the end of the season, and with a non-compete agreement that does leave quite a lot in the air. And I also think another thing that Arsenal are probably going to consider is different opinions. Now, we have mentioned it before, but if we were to get this guy in, why would his opinions be any different to Arteta? I don't think they would, and they'd probably look to buy players in the same markets, which could cause some problems for Arsenal down the line. However, I still think he is a brilliant director of football and definitely one of the number one candidates that we should consider. However, we were rocked today with the news as well that Damasio has confirmed, who is a very reliable journalist from Italy, doesn't always get everything right, but he is reporting that Arsenal's number one candidate to take over from Edu Gaspar is actually one Thiago Scuro, who is the current director at Monaco. Now, first of all, let's get into who he is. Now, Thiago Scuro has been the director of football or the leading board member at Monaco for a year and a half now, joining in the summer of 2023. However, before that, he has experience in Brazil, and he was also the sporting CEO at the Red Bull project as a whole, mostly looking at the South American market, but also doing a lot around Europe, which got his move eventually to Monaco. Now, from a performance standpoint, Monaco actually improved quite a lot under him, because when he came in, they actually came 6th in the 22-23 season, and last year they managed to come 2nd while being 2nd in the league already this season. They have also performed very well in the Champions League, but obviously you can't put all the performances down him. His task is to recruit players, not necessarily manage them in each game. So let's have a look at some of the players he has brought in his 18 months there. Now, as many as you will know, of course, when he joined Monaco, they spent 30 million euros on Balogun from us, and he has been pretty poor for them. That obviously hasn't been a great signing, but he has been able to get a lot out of cheaper deals. Salisu is a good signing from Southampton for 15 million euros. Zakaria, who is another exceptional player for Monaco the last 18 months, has been brilliant. And Wilfried Singo, the centre-back, has been a real star for only 9 million euros. These cheap, young-ish players that he's been able to bring in have been really excelling to make Monaco a lot better. And this season, he's been really credited of buying good youngsters from around Europe for decent prices. He bought George Nkania, who has been someone that has been touted for great things, a great academy player, only 17 years of age, paid 18 million for him. He bought Mawasu in from Toulouse for 16 million, who's also been a great player at just 19, and Lamine Camara, who's been a real star this season in central midfield, for just 15 million euros from a Liga 2 side. So he's clearly someone that prioritises buying young players that can go into the future rather than necessarily buying your out and out players. And with an interview he did with Forbes a few months ago, you can definitely see his philosophy. He wants to buy youngsters that have high ambitions but low wages, so we can develop them within the team, which I do think is something why Arteta and Arsenal are probably interested in him. He also is very much a businessman. Because of his days at Red Bull, he is very good at getting partnerships with different regions to be able to bring their players across. And for Monaco, he's been definitely credited in bringing the South American region a lot more there, though they've seen a lot more Brazilians join in, but also have connections with people from Africa, from Asia, all around the world in order to get the best players for cheap for the team. Now, and that is why one of the reasons I think Arsenal are looking at him is because Arsenal do want to penetrate that South American market still. I don't think that they really were over with that market. It is definitely a very financially capable market in the world. And even though you've seen people like Estevo and Vinny Jr. go for ridiculous amounts of money at the age of teenagers and even Endrick, there is definitely some good gems that you can get for around the 15 to 20 mil mark in the South American region. And we've seen it before. We've got Martinelli, who's one of our better players, who was bought for just 6 mil at a young team. If we can get him in that can try and actually promote that South American market, which is something that Edu struggled with. And I do think he solves the main issue that we had with Edu Gaspar, is when that Edu spent reasonably low amounts of money on players that you knew that he wanted, it didn't really work out. We bought Tavares, who's obviously doing really well now, but never really fit us. I guess that was a low risk option. But even people like Lokongo for 17 mil, the year after we bought Matt Turner, Marquinhos, Trusty, and even people like Fabio Vieira, who is in that sort of South American market. I know some Portugal, but obviously Portuguese speaking. But definitely Edu really targeted and wanted, and I just don't think that it really lined up with the rest of the thinking. But more importantly, I just don't think the players that he got really were very good and didn't really develop. And that's the good thing about this Thiago Scuro guy, is that he has got a development of players that can get into the team and get better. Monaco have had that a lot in the last 18 months, but he's also got a good idea of rebuilding a squad that may need some new and different ideas out there. Now, he's not obviously going to have free reign if Arsenal do get him. We've still got Arteta there with his own opinions, which we have seen that Arsenal will back him for Zubimendi potentially. But it may just be the markets that Arsenal want to get, and he's a businessman, that actually make a lot of sense. And only 43 years old, he's actually quite new in the European markets, which I think Arsenal want to get him early before bigger teams in the future want to get him in. Now, let me know in the comments what you guys think, and let me know if you've got any questions about him and potentially joining. Obviously, it's early days, but I can understand why Arsenal have him as the #1 target right now. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.